Take a seat, Lucy, on our brand new sofa. Hi guys, welcome Poo.
Welcome
Try that again.
You just said welcome Poo. Hi guys, welcome Poo to
a brand new video, guys. This is a video that, if you watched our quarantine vlogs, we kind of got into like a little series of doing some videos like this, because we were trying to like, I don't know, come up with some new ideas and things.
Yeah. And
you guys seem to really like this kind of thing. So we have today, is it 8?
8.
8 misconceptions that foreigners, so people like us or anyone who isn't Filipino, 8 misconceptions that foreigners have about the Philippines.
Now, I would say that I know we're foreigners technically. I know that. But I like to think that the reason we can make videos like this is because we have been here for quite a long time now and we've explored so much of the country that I kind of feel like I'm somewhere in between Filipino and foreigner.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. We live in Manila. If you're new to the channel, we've lived here for maybe nearly 2 years. And before that, we were traveling the Philippines non-stop. Tons of travel vlogs on the channel. If you're new around here, please hit that subscribe button as well. But yeah, today we're gonna get straight into it. 8 misconceptions. These aren't that we had, this is just what we've heard, what other people have said to us.
And things that aren't as they seem. So this is things that someone, like I've heard things on social media or someone's like, oh, you live in the Philippines, da 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 da, and they tell me this thing and I'm like, actually no, you're wrong.
Yeah,
but you don't realise it until you spend time in the country.
Yeah, these 8 things are not, in our opinion, are not true.
Yeah.
So we've picked them out especially to discuss with you today, and please comment below, give your opinions, give your experiences, your stories.
Do you think we're right? Do you think this is what foreigners believe? Do you think that they are true, and even though we're saying they're not? So just let us know in the comments. Also, when we hit 500k on this channel, which is hopefully just around the corner, which is crazy, we are going to be doing an epic live stream with you guys. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, because as soon as we hit 500k, we're hitting live. It might be 3 in the morning, it might be midnight, it might be 6 AM, whenever it is, we're gonna go live.
It's gonna be good. And guys, that's gonna be like a huge live stream for everyone. But also on top of that, we do have membership on this channel. If you wanna hit the join button, there is a join button down there, and that's a way for you guys to support the channel if you want to, totally optional, obviously.
And on that, when we hit 100 members on the channel, can you see how many members we have? Or do only we see that?
I think only we can see.
Okay, when we hit 100, which isn't too far away, we're gonna do a private live stream for our members as well.
And that's gonna be intimate. Ask us anything. You can hang out with us and just ask questions, we can chat.
It'll be just over 100 people in it.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be really, really, really nice. So if you want to spot us in that way, we would be so, so grateful. But of course, you don't have to.
So I will start this off with something that is probably the thing that gets said the most to me. I've had many a conversation with people about this, and I think it's the most untrue out of all of them.
Okay.
So something, and I hate saying this, but I've heard it so many times, people saying that Filipino food is bad. So many people have said to me, oh, you live in the Philippines, isn't that bad isn't the food bad? Like, what do you eat?
People say this about England as well.
Yeah, true.
British food has a bad rep around the world. It's only when you go to England and you eat shepherd's pie, all the other British food, fish and chips, and you pick out the favourites and you realise that it's good. Exactly the same with Filipino food. We got told this. I remember someone in Hong Kong, we said we were on our way to the Philippines.
You're right.
And someone said, oh, Filipino food, I've heard that's not too good.
It's like, you'll love the beaches, but the food's not good.
So we're like, okay, well, let's go and try it for ourselves. So we did, and as you guys know, we've made a lot of Filipino food videos.
Yes.
And just in our day-to-day lives, we eat Filipino food a lot.
And I've cooked a lot of Filipino food.
We love it. We've got our favourite dishes, like 5 or 6 dishes that we absolutely love, and if we're at a Filipino restaurant, we will choose those dishes.
Our go-tos.
But we're always trying new things. You guys in the comments are always encouraging us to try new things.
There's been a few
What's bad?
Yeah, there's been a few things that probably aren't to our taste, but it doesn't mean that they're like bad food. It's just, you have an opinion, don't you? And you have flavours that you like and flavours you don't like. But on the whole, we love Filipino food.
And I don't think you can say a whole... It's so varied, Filipino food. I don't think you can say the whole thing is bad.
No. This actually reminded me, I think I saw something on Facebook, a video, and someone said Filipino food is bad, and so many people in the comments were like going into this guy like, you don't even know, you've not even tried it, da da da.
So at least we can say that we spend time here, we live here, Manila. We've eaten a lot of Filipino food over the last 2 years and we like it.
Yes.
So that's our opinion. Number 2.
That the Philippines is not safe.
Okay, so obviously you do hear stories in every country where there is safe places and unsafe places. The Philippines is no exception. There is an area of the Philippines, and you can see it in news articles and news and stuff, where bad things have happened.
And it's not advisable to travel there according to the British government.
So the way we look at it is that just don't go there. There are so many places in the Philippines to see and travel that you just don't have to go to these places that are recommended to not go to for safety reasons. But I have to say, living here, we're in BGC in Metro Manila.
Yes.
We feel so safe. There are guards everywhere. Just in
shopping
case.
malls, apartment buildings, like 7-Elevens, grocery stores, every single place you go to, there's like several guards.
People are friendly. We walk around at night. I would walk around on my own at night, probably you would as well, and we feel like totally safe. Pickpocketers are everywhere in every country, in every city. Yes, you have to be smart.
You hear bad stories. It's not like you don't like go around with all this expensive stuff and like give people an opportunity to steal it. So you're careful, but I do that in London. I do that in my hometown.
Exactly.
I do it everywhere.
It's not a thing to be narrowed out for the Philippines, in our opinion.
Yeah.
We don't feel like the Philippines is unsafe. We've travelled so much of the country.
Yeah. Of course, be cautious if you come here.
But we've gone in and out of provinces, all over different areas and regions, cities, and I would never say I've been in a situation where I feel unsafe.
Unsafe, yeah.
All right. Number three. This is, I will admit, when I was a young wee lad in England growing up, my idea of the Philippines was like, oh, that's like islands and beaches, right? That's palm trees and coconut trees and white sand and clearest blue water. I'd seen probably 2 photos of the Philippines in my whole life.
I don't think I'd even seen that.
So I think a misconception that foreigners have is that the Philippines is just islands and just beaches, and that is all it kind of is. But they could not be more wrong.
Honestly, apart from like snowy mountains, there's not a landscape that I haven't seen
they
here.
don't have here. Let me prove this to you. Lucy, what is your favourite place in the Philippines?
I have 2 that are on my mind right now. Batanes, which is like
Jurassic Park.
Like if it was like New Zealand. I've never been to New Zealand, but it looks like New Zealand, or like Scotland, the Highlands.
Yeah.
I also love Sagada, which is that
is
mountains.
Right, that is where I was getting to. So let's put a picture of Sagada in here quickly. Like, it is insane. You feel like you're in...
It's not just Sagada, it's actually just like the mountain province, isn't it?
Yeah, the
like
mountains.
All of them, yeah.
The roads, the driving, the trees, the slightly colder weather.
It's incredible.
Take Baguio, for example.
Baguio, yeah.
Like, there are so many, all the major cities, BGC, the modern city.
Yeah, people fly into Manila and then fly to the beach. That's like the thing to do here. But people don't drive out of Manila and explore Luzon as an island enough, in my opinion.
We hugely recommend driving around the Philippines. People also, that's probably on this list, like driving in the Philippines is scary and stuff.
Yeah.
Is it on the list?
I don't think I put that one actually.
I think a lot of people think driving in the Philippines is risky and dangerous and scary, but for us it's the best way to travel. You've got your own car, you've got your freedom, there's so many long drives. You can drive for 8 hours and see so much in a day.
You drive through little villages and the kids like wave and they're the cutest kids ever.
Yeah.
And we have so many nice memories. I think my favourite memories here have been on road trips. They have to be. Another misconception is people not being able to speak Tagalog and coming here and thinking that they can't get around. So for example, when we went to like Vietnam, Thailand, they have a lot of tourists there, so they can speak small parts of English to kind of get around, but it was definitely more difficult. When we came to the Philippines, you can have conversations with people because everyone learns English at school, meaning that you're good. Like we try and pick up things. We've learned quite a lot of phrases and the slang and little. I've got a funny story. Once someone walked past George. There was a group of people at a waterfall in Laguna walking past George, and they said "pogi." And when we first came here, we didn't know what that means, but we knew what it meant. So George went, "Salamat po," and they like really laughed, and they were like, "Oh, I didn't know he'd understand that," because they thought that we would be able to speak the language.
Caught them out.
So funny.
Everywhere we've gone, we've travelled to some really remote places. The English can vary in levels of how good it is and how bad it is, but we've never had a problem with communication, and especially in the city here, English is spoken very, very widely. Restaurants, bars, coffee shops, whatever it is, whatever you need to do, supermarket, asking guards, asking for directions.
The next thing is how big it is, not by size of it, as in on a map.
What are we talking about?
How many islands there are.
Oh, talking about the Philippines. All
what
right.
did you think of it? The Philippines is huge, and it's got over, I think, 7,100 islands. I don't know the specific number. I feel like it changes depending on the tides. Made up of so many places. I didn't know. I think there's 81 provinces, which you'd think there's 81 islands, but no, there's a lot of islands. When you think about the Philippines from back in England, for me anyway, I thought it'd be I don't know, what can I compare it to? Like the Canary Islands, a few islands.
Right, okay.
A handful of islands. When I was growing up, that's what the Philippines was in my mind. But imagine that, 7,000 islands.
It's vast, and it's so
crazy.
varied, as we said before. It's super varied.
And each has their own story as well.
Yeah, don't underestimate it. If you're someone who hasn't been, and when travel opens up again you want to come, definitely come, but try and plan a long time so you can experience a lot of different places.
You need 7,000 weeks to get around all the islands. The next item is kind of on the same topic of travelling. I mean, this is kind of strange from this video in the pandemic because you're watching probably won't be able to come here for a while. If you're not from the Philippines or you're planning on coming here and that's why you're watching this video.
Well, we get a lot of messages saying that I've never been, but because of your videos and I've been watching you guys there, I want to visit the Philippines.
Yeah,
so
which is crazy.
I guess this video is kind of helpful for those people maybe.
Yeah, the fact that the Philippines is difficult to travel and it's complex and confusing getting from A to B. I remember when I was in my old job, actually, I shouldn't have been doing this. I was meant to be working, but I was Googling where we were going to go in the Philippines because it was on our list of travel places, and I'd already planned like Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia, and this was like next on the list.
Yeah.
And I was Googling it, and I remember it was like Palawan, and then it was Puerto Princesa and El Nido, and it was Coron. And I was looking at them 4 places. I didn't firstly realise that all 3 of those are in Palawan. I thought Palawan was a place, right?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't very clear. And I was reading these blog posts, watching these YouTube videos, and I was like, what? Like, how do you get around? Like, it's like take a bus, go to this place at this time and ask for a ticket and get a bus here.
Yeah.
And then the same day take a flight back to Manila.
It sounds complicated.
And it's like, how am I going to get around all these islands I want to visit? I don't know how I'm going to do it.
Once you start doing it, it's really not.
Yeah.
It sounds complicated, but there really are so many people to help you. There are little ticket offices, get a bus ticket, get a plane ticket, whatever.
Yeah.
Book online, book a hotel. There's
It's
Airbnbs
so simple.
all over the country, hotels all over the country.
And you can be super flexible. You can book very last minute. And it's just
in the
simple.
city, there's Grab, which is like Uber, and I feel like I'm telling this to people who haven't been here.
Yeah.
Because if you're...
It's basically what we're saying is it's not hard to travel. So that's a misconception people have that is not true.
We wouldn't have done it for pretty much a year non-stop if it was that difficult.
Yeah. Another misconception I found is that people think that the Philippines is kind of mainly farming, agriculture, and there's a lot of that in the province. Yeah, rural. That happens a lot everywhere, all over the Philippines. There's a huge amount of farming done here. When you take a drive out, you constantly see like rice fields and people drying the rice out on the road, and there's so many places where farming is people's livelihood. But people also don't realise that there's like huge cities, like Davao is the biggest city. Metro Manila is huge, and there's so much going on here. There's Iloilo, there's Cebu, there's so many places that have got big cities.
And on top of that, like infrastructure and all these new developments and projects. There's a new airport being built.
The railway going up the whole strip, basically.
The service industry we have here with delivery. For example, we got this couch delivered the day after we bought it. In England, I feel like it would be like a few weeks. There's things that are more advanced and better than where we're from in the UK. More, what's the word?
Innovative.
Convenient. Yeah, convenient and forward thinking. There are certain things that aren't, but there are certain things that are. We can pay all our bills on an app.
Yeah.
We can
top up our tolls on an app.
Yeah, for the toll roads.
Yeah,
we're cashless here now for tolls.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like forward things that a lot of people don't realise.
You get both. You get like the rural and you get the futuristic stuff.
Oh, last one already.
Last one, I know. I say it's gone quick, but we've actually been filming for quite a long time. Manila, I've got it just written here. Manila is somewhere you shouldn't stay. This is so... We said this on a Q&A recently.
You said this in a vlog recently.
Yeah.
We asked each other one thing. If you could tell the world one thing about the Philippines because you've spent time there and you want to tell the world about it. Because we do, because we love this place. We want people to visit.
Yeah.
One thing, I said don't underestimate it because of the reasons that we just said.
Oh, yeah.
You said...
It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, you said... don't cross Manila off your list.
So there's obviously, if you're in the Philippines or you're coming to the Philippines and you want to have a 2-week vacation on the beach, Manila is not the place for you.
Yeah, of course.
But if you have time to spend 2 or 3 nights here, there is so much here to do and see. Even just sitting and having breakfast out on BGC High Street on one of the tables in the middle, admiring the blue skies and the beautiful high-rise buildings, having a look around the shopping malls.
People go past and just seeing how they live their life.
It's just next level. I mean, maybe it's just for us because we've come from like a small town in England without any really high-rise buildings.
It's cool for us even just seeing these huge buildings in BGC.
We've got a great view here, and that, like, every time I see it, I'm like, oh my god, like I didn't think we'd ever live somewhere that has high-rises. If you live in London, you're very much used to it, but for us, we are not.
Yeah.
So coming here and walking outside our apartment and being like, wow, this is really
And like
cool.
the restaurants here, everything.
And even like things like Intramuros is really cool, like Rizal Park, there's so many places all around. There's so many, like the biggest shopping malls are here.
Yeah, the whole Manila Bay.
There's
Quezon
so
City.
many
There's
things.
yeah, like you say, huge shopping malls. Loads of cool little spots. Like we found that Sorry store that had been turned into a coffee shop the other day.
So
Eastwood
cool.
is awesome.
Yeah.
So many things to do. Like we've been, I say stuck here, but it hasn't been a problem.
Felt like that.
We've been stuck here all year because of the pandemic, but we've had so much to do and see when we could start going out a little bit again. We've never run out of things to do here.
Even places close by like Antipolo and Rizal and stuff.
You
like,
can drive an
places.
hour early in the morning and be up in a mountain and have an insane view.
Yeah. So don't underestimate Manila, because Manila is awesome and it's one of my favourite places here. And why else would we be living here? Like, we live here for a reason.
Exactly.
So.
We love it. So if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing, check out some of our other vlogs. We hope if you're someone who wants to visit the Philippines in the future, this video is helpful.
Yeah.
Do let us know. Comment below. Do you agree? Do you agree with anything we said? Do you disagree with anything we said?
If you're a foreigner, did you think what we thought you thought? And if you're a Filipino,
did we get it right?
Yeah. And do you have any foreign friends that say the same thing? Or like, have you heard any similar stories?
Any more to add to the list? But we just thought it was interesting to throw this discussion out today. Might be helpful for some people. And we enjoy talking about the Philippines, as you guys know. So we will see you very, very soon in the next video. Please subscribe if you're new. Give the video a thumbs up.
And we'll see you in the next Daily Juice.
Bye, guys.